Hello and welcome to the Whoniverse and to a brand new video which contains spoilers for Spyfall Part 1 and 2. Now that I've just got over the cliffhanger from New Year's Day, Doctor Who is back. Part 1 left the TARDIS team separated and in trouble and brought back the Doctor's best nemesis, the Master, in a brilliant twist. Can Part 2 deliver? Yes is the short answer, but if you click this video for a detailed review with some Doctor Who reference spotting and some great behind the scenes facts, then stick around and enjoy, as I review Spyfall Part 2. Now before we get into the episode itself, we get a previously pre-titles with an introduction from the Doctor herself as Jodie Whittaker says previously on Doctor Who Allowed. Something I don't believe the show has done before, other than once I think at the start of The Deadly Assassin. The episode opens with a shot showing us the scale of the dimension the Doctor is trapped in, huge pillars surrounding her as the Doctor talks to herself, trying to keep calm and figure everything out, giving the audience a ticket to get on her train of thought. I really love this shot as we rejoin the action on the plane by moving through the destroyed cockpit and towards the trio in terror. The idea of Ryan finding the metal plates and the Doctor's in-flight recording is great, and plenty of time travel tricks similar to the message in Blink, and plenty of comedy between Graham and the Doc. Now back in the other dimension where the Doctor finds Ada and they begin firing questions at each other, both uncertain and not quite sure where they should be, with the framing of the shots reflecting that. We then get a name for the glowing aliens and a growing sense of tension and suspense as the Doctor grabs Ada's hand, hoping to use the Cassavin as a gateway. Meanwhile, Graham, Ryan and Yaz stabilise the cockpitless plane, with Ryan controlling it, commenting how he can fly a plane but not ride a bike. A reference to his first episode of Series 11, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, with Ryan struggling to ride due to his dyspraxia. The next scene is interesting as the Master, having escaped the plane, is piloting his own TARDIS through the time vortex. The exterior is still the shack from Part 1, however the interior is also the same, spare a few details including a statue and a reflective console. I feel like it could have been grander and suit the Time Lord more. It's a nice touch to have Barton on board for the ride, almost like a companion for the Master, who always seemed like the other side of the same coin the Doctor is on, both with more similarities than they would like to admit. Barton tries to use his height and power in order to complain, almost threaten the Master, who quickly puts him in his place, quite literally dropping him off at the airport to go after the Doctor's friends. Speaking of the Doctor, who is successfully transported with Ada to the Royal Gallery of Practical Science in 1834. The Doctor working out her location as she comes to by using her senses to guess the location using elements from her surroundings, a skill the Doctor has used multiple times, including eating soil in Series 11. Now as the Doctor is questioned, she quickly plays magician, claiming to be the apparating man, before quickly changing this to lady, still not quite grasping her change of gender after thousands of years as a man. A great little funny moment which also highlights how the Doctor doesn't discriminate due to gender, not seeing any difference, unlike the Master later in the scene who uses the expression love to describe the Doc. In the scene with the Master, the renegade Time Lord makes use of the incredible shrinking device which is called a tissue compression eliminator, first seen during the Master's first appearance during the serial Terror of the Autons in 1971. The sound effect used is actually the same one from that story. It's this level of attention to detail I absolutely love. Now during the scene with the Doctor and the Master, both actors shine as they try to outwit each other, the Master trying to present his power over the Doctor in the form of status using height and gender. The Doctor retaliates for twisting the Master's plan, trying to plant seeds of doubt, while Ada makes use of a steam-powered gun and grenade, both weapons the Doctor does not approve of, but lets Ada use. The Doctor tries not to use weaponry herself, but will watch others use them from time to time. Back with the present-day TARDIS team, who while walking the streets discover Barton has found all their info and has made them fugitives, giving off Sirius the Sound of Drums vibes, as the Master leads to the heroes going on the run. It's a great addition to up the danger of the story. Fast forward and we've had a scene of dialogue with the Doctor figuring things out, monologuing when in the company of Charles Babbage and Ada Lovelace. The Doctor practically ignoring the male inventor, instead focusing on the problem at hand and the woman with vision who helped her. The Doctor uses the Silver Lady statue to summon a Cassavin, creating a gateway leading Ada and the Doc to Paris 1943, where the Master arrives in the guise of a German soldier, hunting for the Doctor. The idea of the Master as a Nazi is kind of fitting with his attitude of being better than most, no regard for lives of lesser species, murdering because he can. Meanwhile, Yaz, Ryan and Graham use their street smarts and hide on a building site away from prying eyes, listing their resources and questioning their belief in the Doctor. It's good to see the companions on their own, fighting their own battles, proving their place on board the Blue Box. The scene is shattered when they are found by the glow-in-the-dark foes, who chase them into a corner before Graham makes use of his laser shoes from Part 1. I couldn't help but laugh as they tried to fight off a horde of aliens with Bradley Walsh dancing. From the chaos to the calm now as the sinister Barton enters a hangar to find his kidnapped mum. Sounds horrible, except he's the kidnapper, using her as a test subject for the evil trio's master plan. It shows Barton as a villain, which we get in Part 1, but now we see his true colours. Even when in the same story as a nearly genocidal Time Lord, he does appear menacing. I love this next scene, which is so simple but really effective, with Nor and Khan defiant and confident against the Nazis, including the Master, even through silent intimidation tactics. The Master's lack of words, filled with glares and the orders of a heavy foot, the power displayed with a simple gesture to ensure his potential is known. Moving on to this great little scene with the fam, as Yaz phones her sister involving her family in the events, thus giving a relatable set of characters and dynamics that work. They are soon surrounded by goons who are stopped in their tracks by Graham's dance moves. You can tell this was fun to film. It also shows the tactical thinking of the trio in an episode where they really shine. The next few scenes are full of references, from the Doctor's 4 beats on the coding machine, a callback to the Master's past. And these 4 beats have a deeper meaning in the world of Doctor Who. A series of facts established during the Russell T Davies era of the show, the renegade Time Lord causing chaos for the Doctor at the end of Part 1 is called the Master, who has had a noise inside his head ever since he was 8 years old. The constant drum beat, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, over and over again, never stopping. Now the Doctor thought it was just his insanity. However, it wasn't that simple. Instead, it was a device installed by the Time Lords during the Master's initiation, where he was a child when he had to look into the time vortex itself for a tear in the fabric of reality called the Untempered Schism. The Master used this rhythm of 4 to enhance his hypnosis of the world, using a number of satellites to change opinion, prevent revolution, and become Prime Minister of the UK, and then ruler of the Earth. This plan was prevented by the Doctor and his companions, Martha and Captain Jack, after the Paradox machine was destroyed. However, there were greater plans for the noise inside the Master's head. The Time Lords planned on using this as a signal, allowing them to bring the Doctor and the Master's home planet Gallifrey out of a time lock at the final days of the 400-year-long Time War between the Time Lords and the Daleks. However, the Time Lords had become corrupt and cruel and wanted to bring the end of time. So in the last moment, the Doctor and the Master worked together to stop them. The simple 4 beats have caused conflict and chaos and defined the Master, with him even wondering what he would be without that noise. The Master receives the message and the Doctor sends out a psychic gateway to the Master using the telepathic contact ability, one not commonly used by the Time Lord, with its first use back in 1973 in the serial The Three Doctors, the Doctor referring to it as classic. The pair decide to meet at the Eiffel Tower, with the Doctor mentioning Jodrell Bank. This is most likely a reference to the Pharos radio project where the Master and the Doctor fought, leading to the 4th Doctor's regeneration in the story Logopolis. Location filming for the sequence was originally planned to take place at Jodrell Bank Observatory in Cheshire, but ultimately took place at Crosley Park, a country estate owned by the BBC instead. A scale model resembling Jodrell Bank's Lovewell telescope was used in the place of the real deal for the serial. Now the Doctor and the Master go back and forth, questions flying. I'm really liking the dynamic between these two. It may not be as complex as the 12th Doctor and Missy, but it does work incredibly well. Skipping to Nora and Ada, who braved the night to try and find the Master's TARDIS, running in this shot in the same place as the teleport gag in Series 1 Episode 11, Boomtown. We then have the Master teasing the Doctor about their home planet being destroyed once again, Gallifrey. Last time we saw it, the Doctor dethroned its ruler responsible for the horrific Time War, who was also one of Gallifrey's founding fathers resurrected, called Rassilon. The other more notable founding father of Gallifrey is Omega, who practically invented black holes, an endless power supply fueling time travel tech, who in his last appearance I believe was trapped in an antimatter universe. The Doctor outsmarts the Master, jamming his perception filter and getting him caught by the Nazis in a triumphant move for the Doc. She then finds the Master's TARDIS and hatches a plan. Barton is busy giving a speech that shows his true evil intentions and lack of humanity, as he activates the Silver Lady statue, with humanity beginning to be formatted into hard drives. With this event we see the effects on the Khan family, giving us some perspective and showing us the danger to a variety of characters and how that will impact the companions. As the machine activates, the Doctor's friends try to use laser shoes and rocket cufflinks to no effect. The Master walks in shouting, wearing a great looking costume from Ray Holman. The Master, having waited 77 years for this moment with no TARDIS in his own words, a fugitive in time, as the Doctor turned the tables. What was the Master up to for all those years, and how did he react when the events of the end of time were taking place? Over to you, Big Finish. The Doctor outwitting the Master and making him wait years reminds me of the comedy sketch The Curse of the Fatal Death featuring Rowan Atkinson, as the Doctor with the Master crawling through sewers for centuries, each time appearing older and older. The Doctor then walks in triumphant with her figures from history, using time travel technology, a spy and a visionary to send the Kazavan home and trapping the Master in their dimension for now. The Master, full of rage, begins to plot his revenge, knowing he still has the ultimate victory. It's a quick resolution to the story, but it works and leaves time for plenty more important moments in the story and doesn't back the use of the Master in the future into a corner. However, I would love to know what happened to the Master's TARDIS. We get a little montage of the Doctor making preparations for the plane seen earlier in the episode. I love little time travel moments like this, and with that Nora and Ada are dropped back in their own times, with the Doctor wiping their memories by simply touching their heads, similar to the end of Journey's End. If humans are hard drives, does that make the Doctor the delete button? With the ability to wipe data from us, unlike the Master. However, this is done with good intentions, and shows how the Doctor adores seeing civilizations grow and advance, and doesn't want to disturb history. Now this next scene is simply incredible, with the Doctor returning to Gallifrey. Leaving the time vortex to enter the bubble universe, which is a great touch, the Doctor lands and looks up to see the planet on fire, the Citadel in ruins, the glass dome shattered, all that work, that redemption, all those people, gone. It's heartbreaking and gives us a huge mystery to solve, a series arc, and one that I can't wait to see unwind. Chris Chibnall said that the series was going to be ambitious. He wasn't wrong. I love the use of blue lighting to reflect the Doctor's sadness, a slow, solemn version of her theme brilliantly scoring the scene as the Doctor sits on the floor, defeated, distraught and devastated. We then get a recorded message from the Master as he appears inside the TARDIS via hologram, much like Emergency Programme 1 shown in The Parting of the Ways. The reveal keeps coming as the Master explains how he destroyed Gallifrey. Looking at the mad Time Lord, who's not giddy or excited, he didn't get a buzz from killing he was talking about earlier. Instead he's quiet, solemn and in ruins. Did the Master kill every single Time Lord on Gallifrey, practically genocide? It's an insane twist and one that will plague the Doctor throughout the series. The Master believes he did this with good intentions because of the secret of the Timeless Child, a phrase mentioned before in the episode called The Ghost Monument in Series 11. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be a throwaway line, but instead it seems to be a story arc, going back all the way to the beginning of the Time Lord Society, a lie that redefines the very meaning of the Doctor's species. I really hope the story arc delivers, because if it does, it could be one of Doctor Who's greatest. I was left completely speechless after this scene, as Gallifrey has fallen once more. The next scene has the Doctor explaining the basics of her identity to her friends, with the camera getting closer to the Doctor as the scene progresses, and as the team gets closer to the truth about the Time Lord they travel with. Yaz then asks if they can visit Gallifrey. You can feel both the Doctor's hearts break as she braves a smile and says another time, not wanting to let on the truth about her home's destruction, much like the 10th Doctor did with Martha. The end of the episode is great as we see Jodie's Doctor flourish with new layers and brings depth to the character that I was wishing for in Series 11 and that I knew she was capable of. The final shot looks amazing with the Doctor and ourselves processing all this new info, the TARDIS lit brilliantly, and the Doctor's face cast in the sad blue light away from the orange fire of hope. This episode was sensational, brilliant performances from all, great production design and cinematography. Even with a change of director, the story's themes remain strong, while a new generation of fans learned about the Doctor's past in such a brilliant way. The use of historical female figures that many don't even know about is great, providing education among the excitement. It's a brilliant story, and when paired with Part 1 truly does mark one of Doctor Who's most ambitious stories. A perfect series opener, and I really hope the rest of the series can keep it up. Thank you very much for watching. What did you think of Spyfall Part 2, and who do you think the Timeless Child is? I made a theory back in February last year. It's most likely wrong, but it might spark an idea for your own theories with this new info. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other Series 12 videos in their playlist or via the end card, including a Spyfall Part 1 review and plenty of other trailer breakdowns. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.